check. I'm here. I'm gonna do a couple of things real quick. Let's see here. Just make sure I'm live for sure. I am. Sounds good. Let's kick this off then, huh? Shall we? Howdy. Well, for those of you who stopped by yesterday, you might be looking at my workbench today and going, hey, that's not a TurboGrafx 16. And you would be correct. This is not a TurboGrafx 16. This is a PC Engine GT, the same one I've been so desperately trying to get to work. Unfortunately, this morning, as I was putting things together for stream, I realized I was missing a crucial component for the RGB mod for my TG16. And that crucial component is the actual RGB cable. And my dumbass thought I already owned one. However, the one I own is meant for a Super Nintendo and not for a Genesis, which is fine because I'm using that for my Nintendo project, which has been on the works for a year now. But when I get to it, I will be able to use the Super Nintendo cable. However, they're not compatible as the Super Nintendo uses a completely different connection than the Genesis does. So, originally I wasn't going to stream, and then I decided, at the very least what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together some of the parts from my PC Engine GT. I don't know if I'm going to go as far as desoldering the transformer from my Turbo Express. I probably will, but anyway, with that being said, I just kind of wanted to take care of a couple things with this, and then what we're going to do is maybe move on to some switches if I feel like it. Just having not the greatest weekend this weekend, so I don't know, it might be a very, very, very truncated stream today. Like I said, I was originally planning on not even streaming today, just because I woke up this morning and what I thought had been temperature differential tire pressure drops was a tire puncture. So I have a very leaky, actually two leaky tires. You could put a screw in one earlier in the year, but it's been plugged up so well that I only have to put some air in it once a month. So I've been dutifully ignoring it like I shouldn't have been, but I have been. And now I can't anymore because, surprise, surprise, the newest puncture is not a very agreeable one. It is leaking air like a sieve, and unfortunately, it has to be taken care of. So I've got an appointment to go do that tomorrow. And that's where I'm at with that. It was just not a very fun way to wake up and start my day. But it is what it is. And we're going to just try to install a couple of easy parts on this PC Engine GT. First up, we've got this inductor, which should have been here last weekend, which are now here. So let's just get things under the microscope and take a look here. I'm going to move my mat a little bit. I think, yeah, this is where that all goes. Spent some time the other day making some changes to the microscope arm. So we can see right above it. That's where that, boy, that does not look very healthy, does it? So that transistor rotted through. So we're going to have to pretty much clean up all these pads and put some fresh solder on them. Although we're just gonna clean up these pads because I think I might hand solder these. I don't know if I'm gonna have the room to, but we're gonna try to. And then we're gonna a little bit of flux here, a little bit of flux here. The inductor was also heavily corroded via electrolytic fluid. So had to replace it. And let's see here. Just clean this up a little bit. We're just gonna try to clean these pads up a little bit here, and then I'll take a look at the remaining damage. Does look like trying to use this. I gotta order some more anyway, but yeah, it was just one of those mornings where nothing kind of seemed like it was going my way. So part of me was wondering, do I really want to work on a rare and expensive console today? The answer to that is yes, because I really do enjoy working on these things. Yeah, you can see whatever that is. I'm not sure. Actually, really not sure what that is. But we're going to get rid of it. I think it might be some of the mounting pad from the prior inductor, maybe? It was pretty well corroded, so I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, this has got to get, I just got to get rid of most of this. Most of this stuff is pretty clogged up from all the desoldering work I was doing the other day. With that damn RF module. That thing fought me every step of the way. The reason that I'm really working on these pads right here is just because I would like to. Come on now. Probably would help if I had this in a board holder, but put a little bit of extra weight on top for this pad. I think it's going to be the same thing with whatever that little half moon circle is there. Yep, sure is. Stuck that. Yep. Woo! Yeah, this one still had some fluid on it because, boy, that stinks. So that's kind of why I wanted to come in here and do this. This way I got a very good, where I could feel with very extreme confidence that I cleaned off all the fluid from these pads, because if you leave it on the board, it will eventually just corrode everything, even the little tiniest bit. It is corrosive. It's also slightly conductive. So we're just going to clean up All the residual flux here. Okay, looking pretty good. Let's just get that. Okay. The question is, do I want to install that first? Oh, okay, so once I got the area cleaned up some, this actually doesn't seem to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. And that via still looks like it's healthy, I think, if I just did a quick probe. So here, and then, yeah, it looks good to me. Okay. Well, that's good news at least. We got that going for us. That's right, I gotta go on Amazon today and get some more desoldering braid. Okay, so, okay. Now, I'm left with the choice here of how I want to approach this. Because it does seem like the only two pads I'm really concerned about. Let's just go take one of these inductors and see how big it is, because I think it might actually be easier for me to, well, how difficult is it going to be for me to get it here? Pretty difficult, because I imagine. Okay. Let's, now, I did, real quick, before we do anything else, I also did want to take a look at this transformer. Now, this guy, unfortunately, thankfully, the wire stayed attached, right? But pulled the actual pin out, and I could see the hole it's meant for. I might just be able to slot that back in. I think it's just gonna be a press fit. I think, as long as I'm very, very gentle here. Maybe we do it like. Okay. So this is basically just can't work it too hard here. I don't want to be manipulating that wire too much. And thankfully, if I fuck this up, I've got another one, but I'd rather not have to use it. Okay, so am I in the actual hole? I can't really tell now. And that's exactly what I was trying to avoid. Alright, that's fine. By the way, these new tweezers are absolutely fantastic. Okay, see, that's more of what I wanted to avoid, but so there's the hole. I'm using my finger now because at least the pain of that is going to force me to not press so hard. Alright. It's really not wanting to slot back into its home there. And that might just be because I ripped it out. It's really not meant to do this. And we can see that is not going to work. So I can't tell because I'm thinking that this copper wire is getting in the way. And that maybe might actually just have to clean this out a little bit. Can't see much. This is kind of like some residual flux that kind of made its way to the connector. But I'm guessing I don't want to muck with this too much because everything's still technically connected. I should be able to actually get this back in the board. Maybe. I mean, that might work. It's not really lined up right. I'm just worried about it shorting. It's all enameled wire except for just this one spot. But I can't really get this to go down any further, can I? see. Yeah, I think I just broke it. Okay. Fortunately, it just... Not sure. That's going to even work. I mean, the only other choice I've got is to kind of just stick it through, tack it on, and hope for the best, which is kind of where I'm going to be at with this. I think that's going to be my best case here. We are still connected. And I'm just not sure here if I can do this. If I can't do this, I'm going to have to stop here. I'm not sure really. I want to muck with the T900 pull again. And also supposedly I think this will work though. If I angle it like that. I want to show you what I'm doing here so you can see that I've just got the pin. Just, oh. Okay. Okay. Gently, gently, gently. No? Not want to fully seat. I'm not sure if that's because of this guy right here. Nope, it's the ones, no, it's not the ones in the back. Ones in the back are fine. Let's take a look underneath real quick. Let's see if maybe, no, those are all through. It's a little blurry, I know, but it just feels like that might work. I'm thinking that might work. I mean, there's still like a very... No, it's sitting flat. Okay, that works. gotta be it right there. Those three in the back. Let's just make sure this is an actual pin coming through right here. It's not. Actually, don't want to do that. See, I can see that's a pin, that's a pin, 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 but when I look at that one, I'm not really seeing what I was expecting to be seeing. Let's zoom in some here. Nope. That does look like it's a pin, but it's not really. What the heck else is in there? Alright. Let's see why it is. Yeah, it is just a little shorter than the other guys. Now, does that middle one actually go anywhere? Clear out this crap too. Look at this. And there's. It does feel like there's still some more solder left in that hole there, huh? So what? If we took a look at it, and actually, the sad thing is I don't think that's connected to anything. So really, I think we kind of lucked out. I'll have to go look, but pin 2. Yeah. There's definitely some solder and crap, still stuff in there, but see, there's no line coming off of it, so I think pin 2 is actually a no connect, which thankfully is good for us. So we're sliding that back into place now. Okay, and then go back to the other side here. Okay, then we take a look again. Now we can see the pin. Well, you know, I mean, let us pray. That's all we can really do. And if this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to pull the transformer from the other one. But it does appear that I did damage the one of the few pins that probably was okay to damage, thankfully. So we'll see. Still really have no idea if this is gonna work or not. Now, as I'm a glutton for punishment, I actually bought another one of these, and it should be here on Tuesday. Alright. I'm hoping That is all I really need. Alright. Let's get these two back on. Oop, well, we'll have to clear that hole out here. That is the mounting hole for the shielding, which I do kind of actually want to reinstall on this, so should just be able to suck this back on out. We'll see. Might need to fill the whole thing, and there we go. Okay. Sometimes you need to add in a little extra solder to make that job easier. Let's clean this up now, and let's just hope that I'm just trying to be gentle. But that pin's soldered in, and the rest of them are soldered in pretty solidly, so not pin too much. Uh-oh, looks like I'm dropping connection now. Frames per second, no drop frames. I wonder. My internet's been a little weird lately, so no. I didn't knock a component there, did I? I think that's just a non-pop. Doesn't even have a resistor marking. I can always take a look at my other one. That does look pretty good. Good solder joints there. Good solder joints there. Flip it over. Yeah. Looks good to me. So I think now we should test. The funny thing is that it was a T500 transformer, which was shorted to ground here, so. And we're still clear, which is good. Okay. Okay. Good news. That's I think that's going to be a successful reinstall of the T900 transformer. Wasn't too happy about not being able to get that leg back into the casing, but it really felt like I was probably going to damage it beyond repair, and it was more prudent, way more prudent for me to solder it into place, and then just let the rigidity of the rest of the solder joints kind of strengthen everything. Because that thing should not move. And then once I put the shielding over it, then nothing should really kind of bop into it. Even though there's really nothing swinging around on the inside of this case. So it should be good there. Okay, now I did have this one little part over here that I wanted to install. For sure. this off real quick. Yeah, that ain't moving. That transformer is not moving. So let's do I do this from underneath or not? I mean, I probably do both is my guess, but I hope that's just, yeah, it's just alcohol. So this part, this little MOSFET, Q500, I guess it's a transistor. So this guy goes just like so. Now, nice thing is I've got really good, there's some crap on this, huh? Can I clear that off? No, it just looks like crappy solder. So for those out there, what I'm working on right now, this is basically the backlight circuit. This is what drives the voltages for the backlight. And if you're planning on doing a screen mod, which honestly is pretty sweet, and I've got one, but the unit I wanted to install it on is now not working. You don't need this. You don't need the transformer I just installed. You don't need the transformer I'm about to replace. You don't need any of this stuff. So you might actually have some money on your hands too, because a lot of these parts are custom. Not commercially available. So unfortunately, we're left for the time being. I know Mr. Luke over at Retro6 is pretty confident he can find a modern replacement. I think he's gonna probably struggle, but we'll see. My opinion is a little jaded. I think, there's a whole forum out there dedicated specifically to PC engine repair and troubleshooting. And in the 12 years that I can tell that the forum's been active, I don't think anyone has found a solution. Closest for the T900 is a Genesis transformer, but apparently there's some minor issues with it, because it is not an exact one-to-one replacement, but however the pinout does happen to be the same. So anyway, what we're going to do here is just tack the base of this into place. Just like so. And then I can individually solder these legs one by one. I'm going to just flip it around a little bit. It's a little bit easier for me to access it this way. Should have a good amount of flux, so okay. Don't know if that's corroded or not. It shouldn't be. let's just do a clean, take a look at it. And if I've got a reflux and try again, I will. And my dumbass is realizing I probably shouldn't have put the T900 transformer in place, because I've got to install a capacitor there, but that's not a big deal. Okay. Just kind of soak some of this alcohol up. That looks okay. We lost a little bit of the solder mass, so that leg right there is looking a little sloppy, but I think we'll be good. Basically, I think this should be connected to the base, and that. Okay. That's good, and that should be ground. Yes, okay. Good deal. Good deal. Okay. Looks good. That middle pin still looks weird to me, but that's soldered into place, and I'm not gonna. The more I muck with things, the worse you make it, you know? And so, I think now we can install the do I want to install the inductor? I feel like I should probably install the T500 first. So let's risk it for the biscuit here and see if I can't get it off the other one. So this is my Turbo Express, which is the one that I'm planning on screen modding. If you're not new to my channel, you'll have seen this guy plenty of times. Now I've just got to locate, yeah, see, yeah, that's kind of what I was worried about. Not a huge deal. We got this, man, that is so much. I stiffened up some things on my microscope arm, and it's a little stiffer to move, but it locks into position so much better. I kind of like it a little bit more now. Alright, so basically we're just trying to really lock this blade in, because this stuff is so goopy that it kind of catches the blade, pulls it out. I just kind of want to see if I can't just break the hold on this shielding here. I'm hoping that, I think we're good there. Okay, so I think that's it right there, 500 TP. Yeah, let's get these guys fluxed up. Guessing that 500 TP is probably going to be just a test point to check the voltage coming out the main output, which I do believe should be, is it the negative 25? I think it's the negative 25 volt bias, but I might be wrong on that. melted a bag, so now I gotta smell burning plastic, which is always fun. I hope I just didn't damage that screen. That's fine. Okay. See, this stuff, I don't know, maybe it's like, I know they're not supposed to be using leaded solder, but this stuff just, it wets and wicks and just comes up so easily. It's so hard to believe that this is unleaded solder. So hard to believe. Let's just do a quick little wiggle test here, because I still think this guy's soldered on. He is. So is he. Okay. Okay, definitely still feels soldered on. So we're gonna get some really clean wick here. Instituted a mini trash can on my bench a couple of weekends ago, and it is so much nicer. Okay, so basically, okay, I could see it move that time. Now I still think it's probably still soldered on, but you can see how that pin's now moving. Maybe. No, I don't think so, but we'll see. If not, I can always just fire up the auto extractor. I did kind of rearrange some things to it's wiggling now. That one is wiggling as well, which means it's probably okay. Now the other good thing is that nope, came out just fine. Perfect. They are just ground points. It is just a shield, so theoretically, which although I don't want to, if I damage the PCB at those points, it would not be the end of the world. However, I didn't, because just a little bit of patience and the right amount of heat, that's all you really need. This board, for some reason, the solders very, very, very well for a factory board. Usually you struggle, and you struggle because leaded solder is a son of a bitch, so it usually forces you to do things like the flood and drain method, where you flood in a whole bunch of good solder to mix in with the bad solder and lower the melting point some to make your life easier. But in this case, you just need a little extra heat. Now, this is a T500 transformer, right? And unfortunately, okay, so that looks like it's in very good shape compared to the other one. And I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to actually flood this one with some leaded solder before I hit it with the hot air. But I think I'm just going to hit it with hot air to avoid overstressing things. Now, kind of crappy thing. So I don't really have much to clamp this board holder into. So it's just going to be a very light connection because I don't want to damage the contrast wheels or anything. But just as long as it's held into place. Okay. Mindful of my HDMI cable now. I'm gone a little too far. You can see my belly here, I'm assuming. Okay, so that's the transformer right there. T500. What we're gonna do now is just grab these guys. Okay. And I gotta look this up. I kept getting this weird error with my air station the other day. This, E08. I just did it again. Why am I getting this E08 error on this thing? Okay. Don't want to be on that for longer than I have to. And see, now it works just fine. It's just random with this error here. Alright, so we're gonna let that board cool down for a moment. Alright. Well, that was a little nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie. Trying my best not to destroy this Turbo Express, but it's non-functional. Currently. But that doesn't mean it is completely destroyed. I'm pretty sure it is just a RAM issue. Not that that's any much better, but at least it's not completely destroyed. Now, let's see here. Okay, let's not do that. Alright, so that looks okay. Just kind of didn't melt the backlight connector. I mean, this portion of the board looks fine. Okay, I don't see any missing components or anything that I should be really concerned about. So, I guess we'll call that good. Also looking for delamination and stuff that might have happened from the heat, but all looks pretty good. All looks pretty good. Now, where was the... I think that's... There's the... There's the shielding for the transformer I removed. And I'm just looking around this area a little bit better. Okay. Okay, well... So for now... We should be okay. I can go put this away. It's crazy just how nervous I am working on these things because of just how rare they are. Usually, I mean, I don't want to break things, you know, because so weird. That looks corroded as shit, but I wonder if I can touch that up some. Can't tell if that's just corrosion or what's going on there. There we go. Nice shiny joint now. Nice shiny joints. That's what we like on this channel. Nice shiny joints, huh? Okay. Now let's do a couple of things here so I don't slice the crap out of my hand. We're gonna put my hobby knife away. And we're gonna change tip out again. Work with the micro tip that I've got because I can maneuver this one into a little bit more tight spaces, and the pads are mainly small enough for me to not care or need heat, a lot of heat. So I think the transformer does go just like that. And I think what we're going to do move this board just like this. And yes, so let us make our life a little bit easier here. Just a little bit of flux from the top there, but let's just add some more, huh? Cut those pads. Good. Okay. And then we plop you on. Solder should flow to this a lot easier, and obviously since there is already solder on these legs too, that's going to really help. But now, probably even, like if I tack this back leg, I think that's probably the best thing for me to do. That needs to just squish just like that. I wonder if it's a little off, but that is fine. That is fine. I'm just not moving. Just double check it's not moving. Okay. And I could always heat from the bottom when I'm done and reflow everything if I wanted to. But like I said before, I'm going to do my best to avoid soaking excess heat on this board. Just simply because. Alright, now we can get to these guys. This is why I wanted to do this before I installed the inductor. course, this transformer is making my life a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. Got a little bit of solder on that one inductor pad, but that's not a big deal. And then I've got one leg left, and I wanted to do this way because it's just way easier for me to just to tap it in like this. Come in. Yeah. Looks good. Okay, and now the real test, which I know it should be fine, but I'm just curious. Is this shorted? It shouldn't be, because the other one wasn't showing it short, but... Alright, so... on the negative pad here... Uh-oh. That's not good. Do we have an internal short? No. We don't. We're fine. Okay, now what about up here? No. We're fine. We should be fine now. Because I think, so this is a ground. And I don't have that shorted anymore. Okay, we're good. We are good. We are good. That's clean. Okay. All right. Let's get a fresh cotton bud here, because this one's getting kind of chewed up. I use a bunch of flux, so I'm just kind of trying to make sure I can soak up as much of it as possible. One thing I did notice about my Turbo graphics board is the stuff is like so coated in ancient flux. I mean, it stinks. Like, it smells like old electronics to me. You know, like it's not a bad smell, but it's a smell. I'm sure some people don't probably enjoy it, but it is definitely a smell, and a good reminder about why it's good just to clean up your boards here. Now, I swore that said it's like 800B or something like that, but yeah, there is some writing on it. Just probably the lighting and the angle right now. Anyway, I got that into place, so now we can swap tips again here. Well, yeah, I think. Swap you in. That's the unbelievable nicety of T12 soldering station, is hot swapping my tips and about a 5 to 10 second heat up. It's truly been a joy, I won't lie. Now the question remains, I think what I'm gonna do is flood that left hand pad and then wet it and slide the inductor on top and then just solder the finish off the job on the right side. The coils are just coils, right? They don't have a orientation. This should just be coils good. I'm gonna go look at one thing real quick. I'll be right back. Well, I'm not entirely certain if this is meant to be installed into a specific direction. I know that normally inductors don't have a polarity, so I think I'm going to be okay. Just as long as I guess we're going to have to clean this little tiny dot up. Alright, let's just grab some wick and take care of that real fast. Doesn't want to let my inductor sit because, of course not. It's alright. Okay, that should be fine. I'm thinking, God, actually, you know what's funny? I might have to heat this one from the bottom. Looking at that, I don't think there is a way for me to guess we could try this. We could just a little bit of flux. I mean, worst comes to worst case scenario, I just heat it from the bottom, but stick that to the side. I bought two of them too, just in case I screw something up here. Well, don't need much now. problem is I don't know if I fully got that. See, you can see on the other side how it's not completely on the pad. So I might actually have to now. This is a very, very awkward. I don't really have enough room. Now, my dumbass needs to put in a little bit more flux here. I think that's an issue we have. That's why it looks all cratery and shit. Just smooth that out. There we go. Okay, now, I guess we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to pop the hot air gun out again on this, huh? I'm thinking we should be able to do this pretty quick. Hopefully. I actually can't tell. It didn't seem like it settled, didn't seem like it did anything. Didn't really see the other ones move or not. Nope. Okay. That time I definitely saw some wetting and solidifying. No, but it didn't. Okay, well. Maybe. Let's let the board rest here because I'm not really in love with the amount of heat that I gotta put onto it. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is we're gonna pre-tin this guy. Hopefully, wet solder equals solid bond, right? And again, this is why I bought two of these effing things, just in case my idiot self screws this up. That is looking good. That is looking good. One more, just a little bit more, I think. Alright, so let's try this one more time now. Board's cooled down a little bit. That inductor is screaming hot. Okay. A good amount of flux in the board. Might need to give her a tap, tap, taparoo when I see the solder melt, but let's see if this does it for us, huh? Hopefully it'll just flow. The side effect is at least that looked like it had soldered. Let's go let this sit for just a second. So yeah, see now it's solidifying. I got that real hot. Now, no, what the fuck? Oh, son of a bitch. That's very weird. Figured that for sure would work. Okay, well, I've got to get this into a board holder. Okay. So now, do the same thing one more time. We're gonna have to actually push down on this thing, huh? It does make me wonder. Tacked it into place. But I really can't. Might have to go and add more solder to those pads if this didn't work. That might be the problem. Alright, that held. Apparently, is that part of the inductor that just melted off or something? The heck was that? Well, let's let the board rest for just a second and then I'll clean and look. Hope to God I didn't really screw anything up here. Shouldn't have, but it's just my luck, which is kind of why I Didn't really want to do this today, but it's looking fine. Just needs another clean. Looks like it's soldered okay, as far as I could tell. Not too sure, but could put a little bit more solder on those pads, I'm guessing. That definitely looks somewhat in place. I just don't know. I'm wondering if maybe we could touch it up some here. Get a better connection is kind of what I'm going for. Flux to help things along, and then we're going to give this whole area a very nice clean. Let's try it, maybe looking at it from this direction and seeing if maybe I can just kind of sneak some solder right here and have it flow underneath. Not really sure that's doing what I want it to do, but feels like it is. And if not, just one more quick heat from the bottom. Push down again, but I'm thinking we'll be okay, quite honestly. Oh, you know what? Same thing with this side. This side's a little trickier because of this transistor here, but nice amount of flux in there. Once again, we'll give all this a really good scrub when we're done. It does feel like it's a better connection now, honestly. Okay. I think we're good. Quick little look and see what we got here. Burn him out. Probably make that a little bit stronger, but I'm guessing that it's okay. I bet you if I did I think this one had a connection. Okay, so what I'm doing here is testing the positive pad. So making sure I'm not touching the actual pad. Perfect. I think that's installed correctly, as correctly as I'm going to get it. Once again, I could just hit it with the reflow from the bottom. I don't think that's necessary. I don't know why that one. I really didn't think that was going to fight me as much as it did, but it sure did. Of course, it's in seizure mode. I just noticed. Oh. Perfect. There we go. Now I can see. Just trying to flood and squeeze out maybe any residual flux left under the inductor from the lake of flux I put on there. Just really what I was going for anyway, because more flux, better job. Alright, so now we gotta flip this over. The same thing up here. See all the gunk that had flowed through the holes, all the vias. And we'll just give the whole area a nice general scrub. Board does not, solder mask or the silkscreen does not suffer heat very well, but all the components stayed in place, and that's all that really matters. So, all right. Okay, that looks pretty good. All the flux gone. Let's take another look and see how badly I damaged it. Yeah. It's a little hard to tell, but that looks just fine. That looks just fine. Perfect. Okay. Alrighty. Now, the only thing left are the two capacitors I've got to resolder. And so I've got those right here. I think, thankfully, they might be the same. 116 and 116. Okay. So they are the same. Do negative. Okay, we're going to swap tips again. I might need to add some more solder to this one pad. Not sure though yet. So let's take a look at you, huh? So we're gonna approach it this way for sure. don't need seizure mode. Now, I do have the added benefit of these being kind of pre-tinned, because these are the original replacements. They're not the originals, but the original replacements. I'm going to go use these because they're better. I like the curved, because you can keep things flat, and it's having your hand at an angle. It's so nice. So now what we're really looking to do here should be good. Okay. And then solder this guy in. Cool. Got that guy going. Remember, the black stripe represents the negative side. And electrolytic capacitors, unlike ceramics, definitely do have a polarity, so we've got to watch out for that. I have actually had a couple of incidences on these boards where, yeah, I will fully admit to not being a very bright individual, and I got the polarity wrong, and I had to pull them, and pulling electrolytic caps is a lot harder than it needs to be sometimes, because they do not suffer heat very well, so unfortunately, do I have bubble? I guess I do. I think we're just gonna see about maybe. I'm gonna have to clean this thing like 15 times. It should be the goddamn cleanest PCB when I'm done with it. And hopefully, I don't need to switch tips for this. Not my favorite tip to use for desoldering, but it can work. Problem is, it doesn't really, you gotta, there we go. Doesn't really heat the braid up well enough, because the thermal mass in this tip is so tiny. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to, I think we're just going to hand solder this one. I don't need to do the nudge in place like I did with the last one. I should. Just be able to do it like this. Just like so. And then bang. Okay, that's in place. It smells like maybe that's just normal. I'm just gonna re-wet this real quick and really make sure it got. There we go. See, it had a little bit of wobble in it before. Nothing major. I'm sure it would have been fine, but see how that's a little bit more solid now. Just a little extra cleanup. I don't know. Felt like I could have gotten a better connection to the board there, so I did. And then hopefully hopefully for the last time. Nice thing about toothbrushes is those soft bristles kind of want you to scrub in between all the crap that the cotton buds really can't get to. Think about investing in some foam Q-tips too, so I don't have to deal with all the fuzzies that I deal with. That looks good though, honestly. You know, like, that's a little off center, but cool. Now I'm gonna leave the shields off, and the only reason I say that is because just in case I gotta take them off before I button everything off. You know, if I have to put things back. Or if I have to modify or work on anything again, I'd rather not have to desolder a piece of metal shielding, honestly. But to be quite honest, let's just do this real quick. And yeah. That's definitely ground. It's definitely positive. Looking good. Looking good. And then I've got the transformer back in place. Board's fully recapped. So we got that going for us. We don't have to do any more. And I think, you know, for now, just saw some flux and some hair and crap over here that I kind of wanted to squeegee off all I could. And for now, we're just going to call this good. I'm going to save the thrill of the power up till next weekend. I will be getting another GT in on Tuesday. So, kind of waiting for that because that one comes with some Japanese games and whatnot. So, we'll have some titles to plug into this one as well. Looking pretty good there. But we'll have another weekend of the GTs, and see if we can get both these working next weekend. And this one I'll just have to basically plug in and go. I'm a little nervous to do it today. I will willfully admit that with the way my luck's been going, I'm not too... I don't want to push it. I got everything on the board okay. Took what I needed off the Turbo Express without an issue. Didn't seem to have much of a problem getting things on, so I'm just going to call it good there. It's also 3 o'clock, and you know what? I don't feel like working anymore today. I'm done. I'm going to call it a day. So anybody that did stop by, which was nobody, which is fine. Thank you. Anybody in the future watching this, any comments, likes, subscribes, or whatever on the stream video, I do appreciate it. I do stream, or try to stream, every Saturday and Sunday from 11 noon Central Standard Time till whenever I feel like going. Usually between 3 and 5, so good 3 to 5 hours solid stream on most nights or most days. When I come back next week, I will hopefully have my RGB cables for the TurboGrafx 16, so we can finish up that mod and get that tested and going. And then next Sunday I will get back to the portable versions, and we'll have a new one to look at. And then once I get that new one up and running, which surprisingly this guy claims it does work and the screen does turn on and everything works, but the backlight dies after 30 seconds, which is obviously capacitor related. But if I get that up and running and this one up and running, then I'll have enough confidence to finally tackle the LT, which is my holy grail and the most nerve-wracking soldering job I'll ever have to do, because that thing was expensive. So, alright, well, I do appreciate it, guys. I'm going to call it a day. I hope anyone watching has a great weekend, and hopefully maybe I'll see you here next week. And if not, well, catch you when I catch you. Later, guys.